Welcome to Created to Write, the podcast where we turn blank pages into finished work. Whether you're just starting out or ready to take your writing to the next level, you'll find encouragement, honest conversations, and practical strategies to help you grow in confidence, creativity, and craft. Grab your notebook and pen, open your laptop. Let's create words that impact the world together. I am Michelle Dennis Evans, and I have with me today Jeff. How are you going?
Doing really well. How are you?
Good to hear. I am doing fabulously, thanks. And we were just talking about how hot it is here in Australia and how snowy it is there where you are.
Yeah, it's strange. We've had 3 days of snow here in North Carolina in the U.S., and it's not unusual not to have any snow at all during any given year. So it's been a lot for us.
Amazing, amazing. So you're an author. So how long have you been an author for, and what made you want to write in the first place?
I've been a bookworm all my life and toyed with stories and written, snippets here and there. But I didn't really get started in earnest until about 2017. Strangely enough, I was looking at a map at work of our region and saw a symbol for an airport where no airport should be. So I did some more research and found out that was actually a helicopter landing pad at a Cold War communication facility that was in the middle of nowhere. So that kind of piqued my interest. It's like, wow, that would be really great to be able to go investigate that and see what it's like. But I mean, it's got, all kinds of security and everything. So that got me to thinking and imagining about how would I do that? What would be the ways that I might be able to get in there and snoop around and investigate? And that was kind of the seed for the first story that I wrote called Falconer. And that was kind of like a starter's effort, not good enough for publishing or anything like that. But it got me going, and I did manage to work with critique partners to work through a full story and get all the experience behind my belt with doing that. Um, but
Awesome.
so for writing was kind of a way to explore that there was no way to get to that place except in my imagination. So um, that's
Mm,
how I did it.
yeah, yeah, cool. And what genre is that you write, and who do you write for?
I write for it's middle grade, so that would be your tweens, 8 to 12 usually. Although plenty of adults have read the story and they said that they've enjoyed it. But if you're young, you're that age, you're young at heart. It's for anybody. I mean, if you like, for example, Percy Jackson or Chronicles of Narnia, you can read those at any age and enjoy those. And so that would be the sort of somebody who's interested in those sorts of books in that age would be the people that I'd be writing for. So,
Hmm.
yep,
Awesome. So the timeless kind of book for anyone, really.
right. Yeah, I deliberately didn't write any kind of technology into the book because when you do that, it automatically dates it. It's like a clock starts and it starts getting old. So
Uh-huh.
I read a book where they were talking about this high-tech airplane that flew 150 miles an hour. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any kind of anything like that in there. So it's conspicuously absent from the story.
Oh, it's so hard to do that now. Even I wrote the first book I wrote had landlines in it, and it was the phone, but it's a landline, and who even has a landline now?
I know those kids wouldn't even know what it is.
Yeah, amazing. So have you made any mistakes along the way?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess I've been reading my whole life, like I said, and I'd read
Mm.
a lot of books that I thought, like, how did this get published? It's, and so I figured, well, if that could get published, surely I can publish something too if I set my mind to it. But I guess my big mistake out of the gate there was thinking that, if you've read a lot of books, you can write a book. It's the difference between enjoying music and being a musician, I think. So I spent 2 to 3 years, I think, in writing in a kind of undisciplined way, just kind of a wild, fly by the seat of your pants approach to writing. And I don't think I had the respect for the craft that I should have at that point. So I didn't like reading those books. The craft books I thought were really boring and dry. And I thought, well, I'll just figure this out myself. But about the third year into it, I realized that the only way to level up and improve was to learn things that I didn't know. And so I started reading those books, listening to podcasts, going to conferences, getting training online, in person, whatever. I got a lot of good training online through something called the Christian Writers Institute. They had some really good low cost training options with them.
Hmm.
So I would say, yeah, don't if you're new to the game and you're just starting writing, make sure not to make that mistake. Take the craft seriously. You're not going to be an overnight sensation unless you're an absolute genius. So get lots of good books on craft, read them. You don't have to learn everything at once, but just kind of take it slowly. And even maybe start with, I heard later on this was a great idea to start with shorter stories or microfiction, and kind of learn that way instead of taking on a complete novel when you haven't done anything like that before.
Yeah, that's great advice. That's where I started when I realized, similar to you, yep, I'm going to write a novel. I went, oh my goodness. And I started flash fiction. Every Friday,
Yeah.
I would write 1,000 words or less, and learning how to condense a story or part of a story is exactly what a novel is. It's just a whole lot of little scenes put together.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard this great analogy of, if you were learning to be a chef or something, you wouldn't start from scratch and then go try to cook a banquet for 50 people. You would start maybe with a smaller meal or a dessert or something for your family, and work your way up.
Mm. Do you have any recommendations? Have you got any favorite books on craft? What really worked for you?
Yeah, I've read several. I think the one that was the most important to me was called Story Genius by Lisa Crone. I don't necessarily agree with everything she says in there in her worldview and everything, but the actual material was extremely helpful for me in terms of what makes your novel really pop.
Mm.
Um, there's something called the Emotion Thesaurus. The author's last name is Puglisi, and so that's a great resource for showing, not telling, if you've heard of it. So instead of saying your character was sad, it has a listing of all the different, say, bodily features that would happen for a sad person, like you slouched in your seat or you held your head or whatever. So it's a great resource for conveying emotion to your characters. And I just recently read something called Getting into Character, which is taking acting principles and transferring them to writing. And that was extremely helpful. I'll definitely be reading that one over and trying to take notes on it.
Mm. That sounds good. Yeah. And we
Mm.
connected through Grace Writers.
Right.
What have you found through different communities, writing communities, and connecting in there?
I think it's been absolutely crucial. I've been connected with something called Realm Makers, which is a Christian writers group that strictly does speculative novels, or speculative works of any size, I guess. But so science fiction, fantasy, supernatural, and I entered into one of their contests called the Aurora Awards for unpublished authors, and I did that 2 years in a row. First year, I think I got into the second round and no further. This past year, my book finaled in two categories and one for middle grade. And so that experience gave me the confidence and helped me to understand that, yeah, maybe my writing's ready for prime time. But writing conferences I think are great. That I think I met somebody at a writing conference a couple of years ago, and that person gave me a lead to the publisher who I eventually ended up publishing with for my book, Smoke and Mirrors, which I'll hold up a copy. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it too well, but so this was published last October, so it's fairly new, fresh off the press. And so Endgame Press is a publisher I work with. I wouldn't have known about them if I hadn't gone to that conference. Working with critique groups has been absolutely, there's no way that I could have done this without getting input and sharing ideas with people and hearing their critiques and input. It's been so important for being able to spot you have blind spots, you have people that can see things you don't see. So that's immensely helpful. So I'd just say, yeah, don't go it alone. I think writers tend to be introverts, and I'm in that group too. And so we have to kind of get over that and reach out to people and connect. And so, I mean, I went to a conference this past summer, and we were admonished, put your extrovert on. So, yeah, I would rather just sit beside the fire with my cat and write, and that would be great. But that's not going to work. We have to get out there and into the world and really promote our ideas, and so that we can share them effectively.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. So, what are you most looking forward to in the future?
Well, I have started on the sequel to Smoke and Mirrors. So same set of characters, but different main character, different point of view. But it's a little challenging because I'm still in the process of trying to market and promote Smoke and Mirrors. So it's a challenge for finding time to do all that stuff and still get all the other stuff done in life. But I'm also looking forward to attending a conference this year in St. Louis called Realm Makers. And so I went there last year and really enjoyed it. But I did meet some New Zealanders at last year's conference, so maybe we'll see some Aussies over in Realm Makers this year.
I wonder if I head over.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, let's talk about the contests too. So I entered my book in a couple contests with Realm Makers. So Realm Makers has a contest for unpublished authors and published authors. So I've entered in the published category this year. So I'll be looking forward to that. And I also did the same with the American Christian Fiction Writers. They have another contest called the Christies, which I entered Smoke and Mirrors in. So looking forward to seeing what happens there, praying about it.
Do you get feedback with those contests?
Yes, you do. And that's the Aurora contest for unpublished authors. That's probably the biggest single benefit, because people will rate your book in different categories, like characterization and so on, and grammar. But they'll also explain why they gave you that rating, and so that could be immensely helpful to see, where you can improve yourself and what worked and what didn't work. Aurora, I don't know, because this is my first time participating in it. I'm a newly published first-time author. So I think that they do that as well. And I sure hope so. So that'd be great.
Yeah, and I brought that up because I think that's one of the beautiful things about entering in a contest. It's not just about winning, it's actually about hearing some feedback from somebody you wouldn't hear feedback from. You're not connected to it all. So
right.
I remember the first time I entered a contest, gosh, it hurt. I got harsh feedback.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Yeah. Which one was that?
It was here in Australia. We've got the Caleb Award for Australia. Is it open? I'm not sure if it's open internationally. It's the biggest Christian award here for Australia and New Zealand.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll look at it.
Yeah. I'll have to look to see if it's open for everybody.
Wonder if they take an American. If so,
yeah.
I'll throw my hat in the ring.
And you've already given the writers out there lots of advice. What would you want to say to somebody who hasn't started writing yet?
I would say probably just be prepared for the long haul. It's going to be, I think the writing is not a sprint, but more of a marathon, of course. You're not going to be able to sit down one summer and put together the next great novel. It takes time to grow and to learn. And so you need to expect that and not be discouraged by it. And be willing, like I said, to work with people, get out of your box, take risks, look for input from people. You'll find, I think, that writers are very sympathetic, because they, if you're in a position of giving them feedback, if they're in a position of giving you feedback, you're probably doing the same. And so everybody's aware, like, I need to be thoughtful about how I give my criticism and try to be positive, but to be honest, but be positive. That's kind of a challenge, but it's very important. So don't go it alone. Be prepared to embrace technology, whether you like it or not. I think navigating social media is important nowadays, like it or not. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of social media, but I have to do it. So I have to learn how to do it, whether I like it or not. And marketing is something I never expected. I never really thought about. I just thought, well, I just write this great book, and if I just concentrate really hard on my writing skills, and somebody else will take care of all that stuff. Well, that's not really how it works. I mean, even if you were traditionally published, you'd be doing a lot of marketing, and you have to get out there and do things. So, and that's kind of like you have to learn the business, I think, as well as learning it's not hard enough to learn how to write. You have to also learn the business of writing. So it's kind of an education that you might have to go down a few different avenues and take different kinds of training for the publishing and marketing aspect of writing.
Yeah, brilliant. And where can people find you and your books?
My books can be found on, I know Amazon is available, Barnes and Noble, I believe, is accessible for you all over there. The publisher also, the publisher's website, Endgame Press. ENDGAME Press. You can get the books there. My website is jeffmaxim.com. So I'm very sorry for not putting my last name in my window, but
it'll be in the show notes.
okay. Yeah. So yeah, I have a website, and yeah, there's other things on there that might be of interest as well. So yeah, I look forward if anybody goes on there, just write me something there. I've got a place where you can give me a note, and yeah, I would look forward to hearing from you.
Great. Thank you for joining us here today, Jeff, and thank you for hanging around to the end. Please hit that like, subscribe button, go follow Jeff, and check out his books. I'm sure he would appreciate your support in purchasing some. Thanks for coming on, Jeff.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks for hanging around till the end. If you've enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to leave a review and share the podcast with a friend. And while you're at it, jump into your favorite bookseller site and leave a review of a book you've loved reading. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, and always remember you were created to create, and perhaps you were created to write.